All right. Hey, welcome everybody. So we will be discussing saboteurs this week, and the number one on the list is your judge. And so your judge is often that critical voice that whispers in your ear. So, I mean, I know that he shows up for me. I can probably say for certain that Andrea has her own version show up as well. Is that right? Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Should we introduce ourselves first?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I absolutely.
In case I'm like, who the fuck is Andrea? Is this mad cow in a pink t-shirt?
So this is us just winging it, and notice how and this is really, really great, because notice how when you do something unscripted, sometimes you might not necessarily like start off exactly how you plan, and then you might have that voice coming in and saying like, oh, you just flipped it. You just messed it up. It's like, it's wrong. And like, and like, how is it that you're going to recover from this? Like, just cancel it, just start over. And it's like, no, you know what? This is real life. So there you go. So there you have it.
Exactly.
My name, right? So there's a perfect example of how a judge will show up. So my name is Yannick, and I have a love for knowledge with respect to self-sabotage and how, as individuals, as human beings, we actually get to overcome them. So I easily was able to enlist Andrea to do this 15-week series with me, and every week we will basically pick a saboteur or a sage power that you can use to help sort of like turn the tide on your saboteurs and weaken them. So I will pass it on to Andrea, and then we'll get started.
So I'm Andrea of Dominant Mindset Coaching. I used to be a dominatrix for 12 years, and now I'm a confidence coach. And the reason that I love covering saboteurs, and it was easy. It's easy to say yes to this, is because it's the number one thing I see happening. Because our saboteurs, they hide in the background, and you can't fix what you can't see. So learning more about this, especially with Yannick, who's a complete expert on this stuff, and you know, really getting my eyes on it, because I'm not going to lie, when we first started this video, I was like, oh no, we haven't introduced ourselves. What will people think? So I started to judge about what other people might be thinking. They don't know who I am, all of that stuff. So there it is. It comes in so quick, right? But we can catch it now. So being able to see this stuff allows us to be able to fix it, or at least be aware of it, so that we can catch it when it comes in. And I just think that is just such a valuable skill to have in life, as a coach, as a girlfriend, as a daughter, as a friend, as, you know, just as a human being. It's being able to know when I'm cutting myself off from life in the world, and more importantly, how I can repair that, how I can fix it, and how I can grow from it. So I'm just excited to be part of this.
Well, I'm super thrilled that you accepted the invitation to do this with me. So without further ado, shall we, now that the introductions are out of the way, and that the initial I won't even call it a mistake, but the initial like whatever
Excitement.
Is exactly excitement to do the first video out of the way. Let's actually just get right into it. So the judge, and so some people might say like it's a gremlin, it's your inner critic. Many people have different terms for it, but it's basically like the voice in your head that kind of whispers. And usually the best description that I can use for the judge is, the judge basically shows up and he will find faults with yourself, will find faults with other people, so the people that you're conversing with, or find faults with the circumstances, like what's going on in life. And so the judge will also cause anger, regret, guilt, shame, and will often play a role in your anxiety. So the main role of the judge when he's not looking to find fault with yourself, others, or circumstances is to enlist and activate some of the 9 other saboteurs, which we will cover over the next 15 weeks. So if I can go back to the judging of yourself, so what the judge will do is that he'll show up or she'll show up and will basically fault you for a mistake that you've just made, like skipping an introduction on a YouTube video, and for your current shortcomings, as in like, well, you should have known better, and then might judge others basically by focusing on, well, like what's going on with her, like what's wrong with her, what's wrong with him, rather than basically saying, okay, so like maybe something's up and there's nothing wrong with that. So my judge could have said, okay, well, wait a sec, at the top of the video could have said like, well, why didn't she catch me earlier? Like, why didn't she say, hey, let's just restart the video? And the circumstances, it's like, oh, it's like, it's basically judging the circumstances as negative, and as opposed to an opportunity. So, and the opportunities will arise when we start talking about the either one or all of the sage powers. So the like I mentioned, the predominant feelings that come up when the judge is activated. So the guilt that you might feel, shame, disappointment, will come from the judge. Your anger and your anxiety will also are also feelings that are triggered by your judge. So, and here's the interesting part about what the judge will why the judge says or says that they're the reason for being. So it'll be something, well, if I didn't point this out, you'll get lazy and complacent. Without me pointing out your past mistakes, you'll repeat them again. Without me scaring you or frightening you about a certain circumstance, well, you know what? You might face them again. And so if I didn't judge others, then, well, you know what? Like by me judging others, it's a mode of self-protection of my self-interest. So and without me making you feel bad, you might just not do anything and just leave the situation as is. So this is sort of like a situation that played out for Andrea and I last week. Actually, I think it was probably like the earlier in the day of the first Clubhouse that we did.
Yeah. And
so Andrea and I were on a conversation, and I was offering Andrea something, and she wasn't able to commit to it, and that's fine. Like, we all have our lives and our schedules, and sometimes something just doesn't fit at the time, but can fit later on. And so I just basically sheepishly said to Andrea, it's like, well, Andrea, like, you choose not to do it because you choose not to do it. And then the phone call, like the line just dropped. So, and at that point, what happened for me was that my judge basically like just popped right up and said, huh, what's wrong with her? She's hanging up on you. Like, she can't have like, she gets triggered and her go-to is hanging up on you. What kind of a friend is she? So, and like immediately after, what came up for me was like, well, you had this coming. I mean, like, you clearly shouldn't have said what you said. And immediately right after, my wise sage came up and said, those are all beautiful lies. But trust me, none of that is true. Call her. It'll be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately rang Andrea back, and she said something about, it's like, hey, like what happened? Like the line got cut, like call dropped. And then my wise sage said, you see, like all of that was just made up.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean, like there's a small portion which we can get into like in a future week, but my avoider also showed up. So saying, well, don't call her because she's just going to confirm that what the judge said is true. And so by not calling her, so it's be very, very careful because it can get very insidious.
Yeah.
So, and the best thing that you can do is just notice them. And then as you become more aware of them, you get to implement tools and strategies to counteract that.
Yeah. And I love this story because it's such a good example, because in the other end of the line, I was like, oh no, the phone's just dropped and he's going to think I've hung up on him. And then my judge came in and went, oh, look, you've just lost another friend. Look at you go. Like, and it's just like, he's going to think you've hung up on him, and then he's never going to speak to you again. And that's, you've just cut off another person in your life. Like, that's what was coming into my mind as well. And it was just like, and then when you called, and I was looking at my phone and I'm like, I really hope he doesn't think that I've hung up on him. And then like, I tried to get you, and then you got me, and it was like trying to get through to each other, and then we got through, and then I was just like, the phone died, like, or the line died, and you were like, right, okay, and then it was fine. But then we had that, and I loved that we just called that out straight away, and we had that discussion about, well, this is what happened, this is what was going through my mind, and I was like, okay, that's what's going through my mind. And then we just, it was, what I love about you is that we can have that conversation, we can be really honest about this stuff. Like, you know, I thought this about you, and then I thought this about myself, and I thought this about the friendship. And that's something that we've always kind of been able to do. But in order to be able to do that, it took certain steps, and it took a certain level of breaking through that kind of, and it's paper thin. It really is paper thin, but it feels like a brick wall of fear. But really, once you get, it's in it, that brick wall of fear is a few words thick. That's all it is. And then once you get past it, we're now in this place where we can be like, I thought I was a bad friend. I thought you'd hung up on me. I thought, who's she? And all of that stuff. So it's just a beautiful place to be in. And that's what I really want for the people that watch this video. This is what I want for you, is to be able to get to that place with your friends, your family, and with yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're right. It once you're able to see it, it really becomes thin. And it's just like, Andrea and I have known each other for, I think, what, maybe 8 months, maybe 9, around, yeah, 8 or 9 months. And yeah, and we've become actually like really good pals, like in the past couple of months. And it's been amazing because she's actually helped me break through some of that paper thin walls that I thought were sort of like brick walls. And yeah, it's just been such a great experience to be able to see things for what they actually are, or what actually happened, without having that loud like that loud chatter mind, sort of like creating so much noise that you can't really see what actually is going on. And then you just get like, your stories just start building up, and it's like, it just never ends. And then, but what we're hoping to do in the 15 weeks is to teach you about this, and teach you how to take some steps that will help you get to a better place. A place where, hey, it might not necessarily be that you are able to circumvent all your saboteurs, but you know what? Maybe you notice them more often. And now that you're aware of what your top ones are, then it's like you're more keenly aware where they might be showing up. And when you're aware of where they might be showing up, then you're more aware, you're more prepared, if I can use that word. And so, yeah, so that's really the goal that Andrea and I have over the next 15 weeks is by dropping information in this video on a weekly basis, and then continuing the conversation on Clubhouse that will basically be able to help many on this process of discovering what their saboteurs are, and then discovering some of the sage powers, how you can counteract them and grow your sage so that you can quickly or more quickly go from triggered because of this situation to, oh, it's all a load of BS that I made up in my mind in 3 seconds.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that I would really recommend that you do in order to be able to understand and keep up with this, but also so that you've got an idea of what are your dominant saboteurs, right? What are the ones that are the loudest in the room when it comes to the, I call it the shitty committee that we have in our head, right? There's a whole boardroom of them and they're all shouting over each other. But find out who's the CEO of that committee, who's the leader, and we've got a link that we're going to put in the description. I would really recommend that you go and do that test and find out what your dominant saboteurs are and at what level they're at, and repeat that test often so that you can see how that changes as you go through this journey with us. And we would love to discuss it with you as well. So bring it along on the Fridays. And what time are we doing the thing on Friday?
So on the Friday, so we're doing it at 7 p.m. London time. We're doing it, which is the equivalent of 2 p.m. North America Eastern time, and 11 a.m. North America Pacific time. So hopefully you can join us in the conversation. The conversation on Clubhouse, we think will probably be 60, maybe 70 minutes in duration. And yeah, absolutely. Go complete the assessment. The details will be in the description on how to complete it and where to go, and bring that with you. And yeah, let's start this conversation around the shitty committee and who your CEO is, and who are the top lieutenants to your CEO. Yeah,
absolutely. And if you'd rather speak about this in private, we'll also drop our contact details in the description as well. So if this is something that is really sparking off and triggering a lot of thoughts and ideas for you, then jump on a call with us, because we love talking about this stuff. Is there anything else we need to let people know? So
yes, there's one thing that glad that you mentioned that. So I wanted to give a heads up as to what the next topic will be. So we started with the judge, which is the master saboteur, which is, I mean, to be honest with you, he actually kind of is the CEO. The assessment will let you know who your top lieutenants are. And so the first lieutenant that we will be speaking about next week is the avoider.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you find that you have tendencies to avoid situations, avoid conversations or whatnot, and I'm a reformed avoider, but yeah, I have many stories, so we'll keep that for next week. But yeah, definitely join us next week for when we discuss the avoider.
I've got an example for next week as well about the avoider and how sneaky the avoider is, and how it hides in different areas of our lives, because it's definitely hidden in a few areas in my life, and I'm like, oh, there you are, so now I can start to deal with it. And I would just like to invite everybody to like and subscribe to this if this is something that you've enjoyed today, because I don't want you to miss any of the videos. What I also don't want you to do, because I'm an avoider and you might be an avoider as well, is I don't want you to then have the videos pile up and then go, oh, I'm never going to get through all of those weeks that I've missed. So just stay on top of it. It's 20 minutes a week. Come and discuss for as long as you like on a Friday. But like and subscribe so that you get notifications, and also just like and subscribe because it's a nice thing to do if you want more subscribers. So yeah, cool. Is there anything else we need to put
No,
in?
I think that's pretty much it. So
Amazing. Well, thank you for asking me to do this, Yannick. Just it means so much to me. So I'm really, really, really grateful to be here.
and it's my pleasure. I'm glad that you accepted, and I look forward to the coming 15 weeks.
Excellent. Good. Cool. Well, congratulations. Happy first show.
Thank you. And for people who are watching us, we will see you in Clubhouse on Friday. So
And
don't.
if you need an invite, do we have invites, don't we? Yeah.
Yep. We still have some invites. So if you need to get into to Clubhouse, it's available on iOS and Android now. So do drop a comment in the comments below and let us know. It's on a first come first serve basis. I think we have probably about 10 or so between the two of us. So happily share those out. And yeah, look forward to starting this conversation in Clubhouse on Friday.
Amazing. Good. Cool. Well, we'll speak to you soon. We'll see you next week.
Bye.